I am Dr. Charles Apoki. It's Monday morning. Good morning from Ogeli in Nigeria, Delta States in particular. I want to give my take on Bishop T.D. Jakes and the health challenge he experienced recently. Number one, it can happen to any person. Elisha was sick and he eventually died. Elisha was a righteous man. It would be very wicked of you to ascribe his health emergency as punishment for whatever sin you think he has committed. I don't know the details, but David at one time saw ungodly people living healthy and wealthy, and his feet nearly slipped, his feet nearly sank. So good health, long life, strength, vitality is not necessarily associated with righteousness alone. Common sense, good living, genes, lifestyle can affect your health. And TD Jakes is 67 years old. He's 2 years older than I am. And when you get to this age bracket, you will not understand until you reach this age bracket. But let me inform you, at this age bracket, you are prone to a lot of cardiovascular diseases, including hypertension, including heart disease. What's her name now? One of the Catherine Coleman had issues with the heart. Yes. Several people in the Pentecostal setting had health issues. I will encourage you to look for a book titled A Man Called Peter Marshall. It was written by his wife. He was a Presbyterian minister in the United States who was in charge of the fellowship in the Capitol, that's the Senate and the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. He died young of heart complications, heart disease complications. He overworked himself. I want you to read about Robert Murray McChinney, a Presbyterian minister many years back, who died young. He said, "The Lord gave me a horse to deliver a message. Alas, I have killed the horse. I can no longer deliver the message." He said that before he died. So I've been studying the lifespan of very intellectually, spiritually, politically productive people. And I found out that several of them did not live very long. They didn't have long life. And I started learning from them. Number one, T.D. Jakes is obese, even though he has lost a lot of weight. When he started, he was obese. And he said that his grandfather, his father, they died early. So obesity, genetics can predispose you to cardiac diseases and several other diseases. So you must be very careful if you are obese, your weight, your body mass index, you must check your weight against your height. And such obesity can predispose you to diabetes. Many of these ministers, you will fast for so long, deprive yourself of food and sometimes water. And then when you want to break the fast, you take a lot of juices. Some of them have preservatives, some of them have sugar. You take a lot of them to compensate for the time you had fasted. And sometimes you can overeat. And then you predispose yourself to diabetes. Then I noticed that he sat down on his stool to speak to the congregation, unlike him that used to move around and shake and dance and demonstrate. In fact, the first time I saw him, oh, it was so dramatic and I fell in love with him. He dressed like a soldier, brought military equipment to the stage. The stage was arranged like a um, uh, military camp or whatever. And I liked him. I liked him. But you see, he sat down to speak. He was not as energetic as before. The gray white beard is a sign that he is aging. And he must have had issues that looked like exhaustion. He was exhausted, or he might be on medication. TD Jakes has been under a lot of pressure recently because of the baby oil issue and Didi. It's not impossible that his blood pressure has gone up and that he was stressed. There's a Nigerian musician that committed adultery. He died young. Part of his death from those who were close to him, he collapsed and died. Part of the reasons for his death was the dragging by the church, the isolation by the church, the humiliation by the church, and his heart sank and he died. So he could have been under pressure, lots of pressure from the baby oil and Didi allegations party. I don't know the details. But what lessons do we need to learn? This is most important. The Robos have a saying, Ede rederi wuru, ederi kororoma. That when your age mate dies, you think about your own life. You think about your own life. You reflect on yourself. So, this is not limited to pastors alone. One of our senators who was under some different kinds of pressures collapsed and died in the United Kingdom. They buried him recently. So pressure and stress can kill. And the pressure of life in this dispensation is very high. And the Bible says in the last days, the hearts of men will fail them. So, that you are a preacher does not mean you are invincible. Invincible is different from invisible. Invincible, that you are conqueror. No. Even Jesus was tired and he slept. So, you are not superhuman, and don't ever create that image. When a truth is stretched too far, it becomes a fallacy. It is true that by his stripes we were healed, but we should not overstretch that truth to become a fallacy. Twice I have been dizzy while preaching. One was in Lagos, an Assemblies of God church around that old Ojo Road. I was not feeling well, but I had promised them I was coming. I had to fly down. Initially, they put me in one rubbish place, and I told them I won't sleep there, that I needed good rest. So we went to Rockview Hotel in Festac. And my wife called me. She said that you were feeling sick and you traveled. Now, the children are young. If anything happens to you, the children will be left without a father. As I was preaching on Sunday, I was dizzy. So I held the railings and I concluded the message and left. More than twice. Another time I went to somewhere around Boki area, close to the boundary with Cameroon. Up the mountains, you will see the cloud pass your face. And I was feeling sick. Remote place. I was feeling sick and dizzy. And I told them to give me a chair. And I told them, and Jesus sat down and taught them, saying that Jesus himself sat down to teach them. And then I preached. I took me time to recover. Long distance I traveled, long distance. From Ogili to Onitsha, Onitsha to Abakaliki, Abakaliki to from Onitsha, Enugu, Abakaliki, Abakaliki at night to Boki, Okondi, and then traveled another long distance. It was stressful on the body. I don't think I can go that way again. The last time they invited me, I told them I couldn't come. Another time was I was speaking to the National Convention of Ottawa, and it was hot. It was sunny. And I had sat down and waited. As I was speaking, I started feeling funny. I rounded up the message, the lecture, and sat down and recovered. I could have continued and died of heat stroke. Then, very recently, I went to preach in the Church of God Mission, Lagos West District at Okokomaiko. And I took my BP medications, took medication against prostatic hyperplasia. The drug for prostatic hyperplasia also reduces blood pressure. I don't know. I checked the previous night. The blood pressure was not normal, so I took those medications. The one to control the blood pressure. I took Vasoprene to prevent stroke, and then I took the drug to prevent prostatic hyperplasia. I didn't eat breakfast. We rushed to the airport very early. Got there. There was delay and all that. Thank God I went with my PA. When I insist that you book a flight, book a room for my PA, it's not pride, it's for my safety. I went with my PA and I was feeling dizzy. I got a chair and sat down, and he did all the running around for buying another set of tickets and all that. And we got to Osubi safely, and my driver came to carry me home. I had to rest. So these things happen at this age bracket and can happen to any person. Either the medication you are taking, your health status, exhaustion, or a combination of all of them. So I'm talking to myself. You learn, you learn to to be careful to manage yourself like a patient if you start experiencing health challenges in old age. So in that place in Cross River State, if anything had happened, I would have died because a good health facility was very far from that place. Don't die a foolish death. Learn to rest and decline some activities when you are not well. A lady advertised the program. When I was overseas, she was calling me and calling me and calling me and calling me. Put handbills online. I told her I cannot come. My head is blank. Usually from November to December is my rest period. It's my communion period. It's my fellowship with the Holy Spirit period. It's the time I spend with my wife. I spend that time at home recovering. I said, there's nothing in the brain. And so I should send somebody. So I sent Pastor Abraham to go and speak to them. And I rested because I also had another engagement this last Sunday. So this Sunday, you must understand that preachers go through a lot of pressure. I think I was to go and share a testimony of the person that sent 340,000 for our Thanksgiving to our church. Wanted to take the check there, present it to my pastor. But I woke up in the morning. I had not slept well the previous night. I woke up in the morning and I told my wife I was not going to our local church. She wanted me to go there then, which was normal. I told her I was not going. I wrote the check, gave to her. She went, shared the testimony, and gave the check to them. I don't need to be the one that will share the testimony. I did a recording here for 30 minutes that I premiered while going to Tokutu, my community, to do Thanksgiving. When I finished preaching during the Thanksgiving, gave them what God laid in my heart to give to them towards buying a land for the church, gave scholarship to the children. I told the senior pastor, Reverend Samson Bojo, that I was going home because I needed to record again for 1 hour for my radio program that is broadcast on Quest FM 93.1, 6:30 every Wednesday. Mega FM, I think, is a 98.1 every Tuesday, 6:30 a.m. I needed to do recording. So I left early, got to Ughelli, 8. Abraham left me. I rested for a while. The young man came. My head was empty. But I managed to record from my YouTube channel and recorded for 1 hour, took a bath, and rested. And I'm here. So the pressure of ministry is so much. The demand is so much that we need to be wise as ministers. Now, preaching is a very tasking job. 1 hour of preaching in Pentecostal churches is like 4 hours of farm work. I've done both. When you are farming, you sweat. When you are farming, you walk, but you don't talk. You are not breathless. When you walk for some time, you rest. You walk for some time, you eat or drink water. But Pentecostal pastors, you will trek up and down, you go up and down, you will shout, you will sing, you will jump up. Somebody shout! You don't understand. It's like 4 hours of farm work. And then TD Jakes, his own was extraordinary. And I have young men close to me who call themselves TD Jakes of Africa. I want you to watch this video and learn from it. I have young pastors who imitate these people. I once preached with so much energy, and my wife was telling me this morning that she was scared. And then she used to cancel me, and I slowed down. So then preaching 3 to 4 services on a Sunday morning, that you're having 5 services, 6:30 to 7:30, 7:30 to 9, 9:30 to 11, 11 to 1 p.m. It is too exhausting on you. Sam Adeyemi said that if you think that you are Jehovah El Shaddai, that you shall die. So all these 5 services, and sometimes I check these services, it's the same choir, the same ushers, the same elders, the same people around. Only a few people come in, and some stay throughout the 5 services. Why don't you open branch churches? Let other people preach. I shall build my church. The gates of hell shall not prevail. Not you. Open other branches. You send vehicles to go and carry people so that you can preach in the big auditorium where 100 and something thousand people are seated. We have seen the consequences of such things. We have seen the consequences. In Nigeria, severally. And some of you know them. So, the truth of the matter is that when you are 30 to 40, you won't feel anything. 30 to 50, you might not feel anything. But I had one of our pastors went for burial of his parent or so, came back. He slumped in church and died. Left a young wife. He was 50 something. So sometimes when you are doing these things when you are young, carrying big projects, this committee meeting, this PFM meeting, this CAN meeting, you are here, my calendar is full, full, book me 2 years in advance. I used to talk like that, mumu like me. As I reach this age bracket, some of the stress we put on this body is in old age. Now that we are feeling it. And TD Jakes is 67. Go and check the average pastors, 65 and above. Many of them are diabetic. Many of them have hypertension. Some of them have arthritis. And they still want to create the front that I can't be. I saw one old pastor, either Bill something in America. He was absent for some days or weeks. Then he came back. I could see he had partial stroke. He was walking with walking stick. And the church was excited. You will hail him to death. Tell him to go and rest. Tell him to go and rest. Let him hand over. Hail him. He went for medical treatment. God helped him. Let him go and rest. Even David was exhausted when he was fighting with one of Goliath's brothers. And the people said, David will no longer go to war so that the light of Israel will not be put out. It is felt in old age. You see, 60 and above is a very steep climb. When you reach 70 and above and you're not exerting yourself, it's a natural aging process. It is this 60 to 70 era when you don't realize that you are getting old. People will be telling you are getting young. Ah, you are young, you are still young, and you want to impress them. And so avoid crowded preaching schedules. 7 to you are in one church, immediately you are rushing to another church, immediately you are rushing to another church. No. Give time to the body to recover in between them. I'm talking to you from experience. Give the body time to recover. Spread out these preaching engagements. Spread them out. Like Lagos, you get tensed up. There was one day I was going to preach in a church in Yanikpaja, and my hotel was somewhere around Ayobo. We got to that Yanikpaja roundabout. There was traffic. You will be wondering, and they will be calling you, where are you? The walkie-talkie, where are you? The choir is about to sing. You get tensed up. The driver gets tensed up. One of the days, I came out of the vehicle, took a motorbike to go and speak. I can't do that now. But some people are still agitated at this age bracket. Leave some things. This age bracket, I saw a man of God talking, I still fast. Fast with wisdom. It might not apply to every person. So don't bring it to the public domain as something that they should copy. Some of them might fast and die fast. You do dry fast and you die fast. Know your state and walk. I went to a church and told them that when you reach a certain age bracket, don't deny yourself of sleep. Sleep properly. Don't come for night vigil. And if you look at them in that church, all of them look cranky, exhausted. A church, 38 years, they didn't have doors. They only had metal barriers. And I was to raise money for them to put doors. And then the pastor just called me to the side. They said that you talked night vigil that when you are old, that I don't do night vigil. What am I doing night vigil for at this age? Tell me, what do I want to pray for? To be like Elon Musk. Be like Dangote. Why didn't I become them since now? Anointing fall on me at this age. What do I want to do? Raise dead body? When person reach old age for Roboland, then say he go sit down. They say when you reach old age, you go sit down the bath. That is when you reach a certain age. In Africa, we stand to take our bath. Say when you reach a certain age, you sit down and take your bath. And I told him, if you don't want me to preach, I'm going home. And he said I should preach. And I raised money. I donated money. For doors too. My money. So, and then I looked at all of them. Pastor was having health issues, had health issues. As I was preaching, some of the elders were sleeping. They are tired. The Pentecostal Christianity is so exhausting on so many people. See people looking cranky, not fresh. Okay. Avoid crowded programs, particularly the ones that involve long travels. You see, I traveled a lot. Even if you travel for vacation, air travel is exhausting. Waiting for the plane, the takeoff time, the bumps, the landing time can drain energy from you. Crossing immigration and people checking, standing on line. Nowadays, I don't stand on the line. I sit down. When they go, then I go. Thank God for airlines like Lufthansa. They call people by batches. If not, standing online alone can be very exhausting. I hear people say that you don't retire from ministry. I hear you. I hear you. The Roman Catholics, the Anglicans, the bishops, the Baptists, the Presbyterian, the Methodists, and Assemblies of God Church. Do you think you are wiser than them? They've been in this system for years, this business of ministry for years. When I mean business, activity, for years. And they compel their ministers to go on vacation. But Pentecostal general overseer, Pentecostal branch pastor, you won't go on vacation. You want to be there. You want to be there. You're on vacation, you are preaching. You're on vacation, you are shouting. What are you pursuing? And so you see, we are exhausted. And then they say they don't retire them. These people retire their pastors, their bishops, whatever, when they reach a certain age bracket. And so you find out that you can retire into a less demanding ministry. I found out that Presbyterian pastors, Anglican priests, Baptist ministers, they retire with their wives. With their wives. They retire and live long. But in Pentecostal setting, we exhaust ourselves, exhaust our wives who are breastfeeding, they will fast, who are breastfeeding, they will shout, they are singing their normal thing, they are still shouting, they are preaching up and down, they are raising funds, they are traveling, they will cook, they will have children. The demand on wives of Pentecostal pastors is too much. And then you see that Pentecostal pastors lose their wives more frequently than the other Orthodox churches, in quotes. I know a church where the husband became a bishop, the wife became a bishop in a small church, and then they wear several things, blankets and cap and everything on their body. I counted some of those attires, it's up to 11 to 13. And then you sweat in this tropical climate. You hold big stick. You are my Lord Bishop. She was educating us on how to address her. After a few years of listening to her in that church, she had stroke, died. The husband has also died. The pressure we put on ourselves as ministers is too demanding. God's work requires that you must delegate responsibilities. You can't be the only one preaching. You preach to the whole country. They must sit down and listen to you. What? You preach for hours. What? Jethro met Moses and told him, what you are doing is not good. That you will exhaust yourself and exhaust the people. And that's what we're having. They were seeing in ministry. A lot of the older ministers, they are exhausted. So they talk rubbish, exhausted. They still want to be relevant. Moses will sit down from morning to night. Pastors like that. Delegate some things. Don't carry too many things on your shoulder. Give to others to do. Let others shine, and only you won't shine. Why is it that Africans like, and why is it that black people like? Delegate to people. Now, don't fit health. I am strong. No, you are sick. I'm not feeling well. The Bible says only the sick has need for physician. It is not well with me. I'm not feeling well. I need treatment. Don't fit health. The tendency to despise medical care and medication. The doctor said this, and I said no. I said no, that Dr. Jesus. I've been in both worlds. Practice medicine, I've practiced healings, seen dramatic healings, but they don't happen every day to every person, in every place, in all circumstances. There are exceptions. Every skill that man has known to heal people was given by God. Harness it and live a good life. There's nothing wrong in going to hospital. So, if you despise this counsel, check your blood pressure, check your urine, go see physician, you're feeling pain, get an early diagnosis. My friend had cancer, my friend's wife had cancer of the breast. She died of it, she refused therapy. Going from one pastor to the other, and they were collecting money from her, and she died. It's not everything you hear in the pulpit that you take home. Filter it, analyze it, apply it to yourself. Does it fit you? If you don't force yourself to rest, your body will force you to rest. I remain Dr. Charles Apoki. Yoruba people have a saying, "Ubrota onya avo movie ko hire pososo." That it is only half a word that you tell a freeborn, and then it turns it to a whole word. I'm speaking to myself. I need to learn to rest, take my health seriously, delegate responsibilities. Don't be under the pressure to shine. God bless you. You're doing great. You're doing this. In my radio programs, there are some days I don't record. I just tell them, play old messages. And the funny thing is that the people won't know it as it is an old message. So they don't even pay attention to what you are saying. They're only interested in the sensationalism. There was a pastor that was sick, and he was a prayer healing minister. Pastor that was sick, and somebody came for prayer. I want to be prayed for. I'm sick. They say, Pastor is not feeling well. I beg, tell him to come and pray for me. Pray for me first. If he wants to die, let him die. I don't know if it is true, but I heard it when I was younger at Aba. And you see most of these so-called deliverance ministers. There's really no deliverance ministry. You're quarreling with demons, morning, afternoon, night, quarreling with demons. I have traced the history of several of them, particularly one of them from Ibadan in those days, an Igbo man, a gynecologist. He was my lecturer. He died at a young age. Several of them died, had stroke, had cardiac arrest. Quarreling with demon, morning and night, demon. Leave demons. Jesus lived there. Jesus had dealt with them. Demon, where are you? God will need to help you. My people perish for lack of knowledge, not lack of prayer, not lack of faith. I remain Dr. Charles Apoki. We have the webinar coming up on the 6th and on the 7th of December by 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Send a message to +234 80 21 21 92 62. And I have properties for sale. Send us a WhatsApp message. I will let you know where they are and the prices. God bless you.